Hello everybody, I'm Jimmy Fantastic and welcome to my Chaos Chosen guide for Blood Bowl 25 or Season 3. Let's get straight into it. First of all, I'm using Fumble here, Fumble site, they've got the rosters on, and we'll start off with a look at the team for new players. What is the team, what are they about? Well, they've got 4 Chaos Chosen, massive Strength 4 blockers, they're pretty good. And then they've got Beastmen, which are actually really good players now. Really good, actually, for 55k. Really quite good players. They run around, do everything. Everyone on the team can blitz at Strength 4, so they've got a bit of strength. They're a bit more hybrid than they used to be, but that's the idea. You know, they're meant to be a bash team, kind of. The problem they've got is they don't start with any block. So, you know, anyway, let's look through the team at the various players. You've got 0 to 16 Beastmen, 6'3", horns and thick skulls. So they're like a human player, right? A human lineman that gets horns and thick skull and mutation access for 5k, which is a great deal. They're actually really good. The thick skull that they've got really protects them quite a lot. That is good. It's almost as good as AV 10 plus, right? Thick skull is really nice. And then horns is also really good. You can always hit on strength 4. Secondary, they've got agility, devious, passing and strength. Honestly, you're probably not going to take any of those skills. You're just going to take wrestle on them. And then I guess you'll probably still make like one guy to blitz with who can get block and mighty blow. And you'll make one who's a carrier, and the carrier will get stats, and you know, and they'll get movement 8, edge 2 plus, maybe strength 4, you know, maybe block. It's hard to get dodge now because it's so expensive compared to stats, but yeah, that's basically what they're doing. They're just mostly having wrestle goats, you know, and they're going to be like more like a hybrid team rather than a bash team. The 4 Chaos Chosen blockers are actually pretty incredible. Movement 5, Strength 4, Edge 3 plus, PA 5 plus, AV 10 plus, and Armbar. Now Armbar is pretty useless, but they do get general mutation strength access and agility on secondary, so they're going to get block, mighty blow, guard. The problem is 4 of these players with block, mighty blow, guard, that's a lot of TV, right? 120 extra TV for the elite skill tax. That's a big problem for them, but you know, they're still really good players. I can't see them taking any mutations, really. Maybe Monstrous Mouth. Oh, maybe Monstrous Mouth's a shout for the Beastmen as well. It seems fun. We don't really know how good it is yet, but it certainly seems fun. And then they only get one of the following big guys. So the Troll is slow and stupid. The Ogre is really good, but kind of expensive. And the Minotaur is really bad, but really fun. You know, lots of people have a lot of fun on the Minotaur. And when I say bad, it's really unreliable. Unchanneled Fury is a very bad trait to have, but it's got Frenzy, right? So it does get more knockdowns. It's got Horns, so it's easy to get 3 dice with it. But it's AV9 plus, so it's more fragile. I'm not a fan of the Minotaur, but you know, if you like it, obviously crack on and go for it. The Chaos Ogre is actually very good. But the problem is it doesn't fit into the starting team. It probably is 25k better than the Troll, right? It's got plus movement, it's got plus edge, and it's Bonehead is way better than really stupid. So overall, and Thick Skull is just as good as Regen, basically. You know, more likely to stay on the field. So the Ogre's definitely the best big guy there, but the Troll's got you know, pricing going for him. And they get an Apothecary. They've got 50k rerolls. That's a huge buff for them in the new edition. And they're ranked at tier 3 by Games Workshop. Now, Garrion on Fumble did a pros and cons. Rerolls are now 50k. Yep, Beastman 55 down from 60 and gain Thick Skull. Chosen get Armbar for free. Troll gets to regen before Apo. Starting roster is much more TV efficient. The 6 MVP rule does benefit this team. Yeah, you're going to always get MVPs on like one particular goat, Beastman, and all 4 blockers, and your big guy if you've got it one. Beastmen have lost primary strength access. I mean, that is huge, right? That is huge. You can't underestimate that. Like, they were always getting WrestleGuard and stuff, and now they can't. They also lost DP, but I didn't take much DP on them anyway, so I don't feel like that's much of a loss, personally. And then we've got the recommended starting lineup. Now, I think this is the best starting team you can make, which is a Troll, 4 blockers, 6 beastmen, 3 rerolls, and 1 dedicated fan. Now, what you can do is you can swap that Troll for a beastman, an apothecary, and 1 more dedicated fan. And that's obviously a bit more solid, and what that means is you can save for the ogre and add the ogre. So while I think this is a stronger starting team, I'm actually going to edit this and make this not the recommended starting. I think I'm going to recommend starting with the 7 beastmen and the apo, and then saving up and adding the ogre as soon as possible. I think that's probably going to be best for most people. But I think this is just definitely the most powerful starting build, right? Because you're starting with a Troll. You've got maximum strength here. You've actually got an angle to win games. So as far as winning games go, I think this is the best start. But I think maybe in a league, maybe I'll just add a different option. But for a league, maybe you start with the Beastman and the Apothecary, and then you're less likely to lose a Chosen blocker game 1. Oh yeah, also skilling up the big guys. I did forget that. They've all got mutation and strength, which means guard. They've all got general on secondaries, which means block. You could also take like defensive if you get a high TV. The problem is with redraft now, it's just really hard to get a high TV, right? So you don't need to think too much about how you're going to level. You're not going to give them like loads and loads of levels, because you're not going to be able to keep them around forever. So the whole leveling thing is weird in this. There's no randoms anymore, basically. Very limited randoming. So this whole edition feels like bad for progression, honestly. A lot less fun of, But the thing is, I guess most people just play in small local leagues anyway, right? So it's actually... And most people on Blood Bowl 3 only play a few games in a season. And then obviously Fumble has 15-game runs for Black Box Trophy. So overall, I guess, Blood Bowl is played for the vast majority of the time very low TV. So yeah, you don't really need to think too hard about what you can level up. Block, Guard, Mighty Blow are still the go-to skills. There's a reason they are elite skills. You don't need too many Mighty Blow, but it is still really good, so you probably still do want it. and then yes, stats now are so TV efficient that at least your ball carrier is always going to be like a stat freak, and then they can do things as well with that. But yeah, interesting team. They're an interesting team. They become like very TV efficient with Horns and Thick Skull for so cheap and cheap rerolls. They become an interesting team, different to what they were. Not the monster 2000 TV chaos that they used to be. Now they're just like an interesting kind of hybrid bash team that will do better in redraft, and won't have the top end that it used to have, but that top end will never see play in any format ever again, apart from like custom leagues and stuff. So there you go. That is Chaos Chosen. Thank you for watching, everybody. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and stay fantastic.